by other people as a way to encourage to invade the Anywaa land. Uh, for example, there were the Dinka that came, there were the Equatorial people that came, there are the Shilluk people that came, there are a lot of different ethnicity from Sudan that came to Ethiopia as refugees. But when the war was over, they went back to their country, which is now considered South Sudan. But the one tribe that did not went back is the Nuer. Even before 1940s, you cannot find anywhere in Gambella area. When they come from their country, they cross the border, they sell their cattle, the goats or the cows, and then they buy salt, they go back. But also when they came to the Anywaa lands, they asked the chiefs of the areas. Most of those areas are by the Openo or the Baro Bank. They asked the chief to come, with their cattle because these people are nomadic. So they use the pastoralists. They use the animals, to sustain themselves and also as their economy. So they have a lot of cattle. So for cattle to survive, it has to have a water. There has to be a grassland, that they could graze on. So the Anywaa, because the Anywaa people, most of them live by the rivers, their lands become a target for these people, because during the dry season, these areas are very fertile. There's green grass, there's a water, there's rivers, it's very suitable for the animals. So they come and they ask the chief, and then they settle there during the dry season. And when that is over, they go back to the area, which is way all deep into Sudan. They don't even border with the Anywaa people. But as the time goes by, they started creating relationship. They started coming in big number. And once they exceed the local population, they kill those people and then they stay permanently. Mm-hmm. Those Anywaa who wanted to stay and not, leave their ancestral land, they will be assimilated. Mm. And then they go on. They go to another area. They make good relationship with those people. But as the number increase, once they exceed the local population, they kill them. Some of the Anywaa who survive, they run, and then they assimilate the others that stays. So this is something that is repeating until they get to what we call today as Gambella. That was just during the dark government. When the civil war took place in Sudan, the international community, because they care about the humanity, they wanted these refugees to have a safe place. What they did is that they said, okay, there's a big land, open land in Gambella. Why don't we bring these refugees into the area so that they could live here and survive and escape the violence that is happening in the Sudan, because the Arabs are killing them. They're murdering children. They're killing, all the Nilotic people, those who are dark skinned. So they have been displaced. So, but when they came to Gambella, the dark government made agreement with them and made them, bring them to power. And then they came up with what they call the Harbin refugees, which is Gambella town was actually at that time but they call it Harbin because it's better than the other areas. So based on that, they brought refugees and they brought to the center of Gambella, and they named that place a new land because that's a new land for them. So that is how the Nuer people get to come to Gambella area, and now they settle there. They say now we are Ethiopian. Now we have a big population. We are the majority. This is our land. So this has been going on, and the government of Ethiopia, because they gain a lot of benefits from these refugees, from the international community, they use the refugees against the local population, also for their political agendas and purpose. But in the book, I went in detail. That's just a surface of it.
I have you repeat or maybe elaborate a little bit. We, most of us here, not the young people who are born in this country, but we were in the camp in Kenya as refugees. And our experiences there is you don't touch a Kenyan animal or a Kenyan tree. So compared to Ethiopia, what freedom do they have as refugees under the UN Charter? Are they allowed to have guns or go and raid a village or occupy, and the government does not do anything in any country in the world by the Ethiopia?
The government of Ethiopia has its own interests. During the Derg government, I would say that Gambella was pretty much controlled by the refugees because the local people have no say in what is going on. So the government, the Derg government, collaborated with the refugees to control the area, and that is also to benefit the Derg government because at that time the TPLF and the Eritrean forces, rebel forces, were fighting against the Mengistu government. So they were supported by the Sudan government. So because they were supported by the Sudan government, now the Derg want to support the rebels in Gambella, which are the refugees, to fight the Sudan government. So they were using the rebels, but in the Sudan side, the Sudan was using the Ethiopian rebels and the Eritrean rebels against the Derg. So that is how Gambella become under control of the rebels. Basically, so now you have like a lot of people talking, oh, my uncle was, the leader in this area, we the Nuer were in this position in this. But they were used by the Derg government basically against the TPLF and the Eritrean forces that are fighting against the government. So, but the people who were in the middle that suffered a lot were the Anywaa people because they had no say. That the rebel will come, they will raid the farms, take all the food. They will say anything because they have no weapon. They had no weapons. They can't protect themselves. They could come, force some old people to carry their ammunition for them, for miles and miles, and they wouldn't say anything. They basically control the area. They would come, rape women, they would kill people. No government is coming to save the Anywaa people. And the Anywaa cannot defend themselves because they had no weapons. So the refugees pretty much control the area. And that is the time when a lot of refugees control and displace the Anywaa people from the area. Because, why would you stay in a place that you could get killed in, but no government to save you? Why would you stay there? So a lot of people, they take their kids and they run away. So a lot of the land were taken by the Nuer and the refugees. In that case,